Hey everyone, sac pase. Welcome back to Civil Convo with Rachel. Today, we are diving into a topic that I know keep a lot of us up at night. We are talking about our kids, their screen time, and their mental health. That's a big one, right? For years, the conversation has been pretty straightforward. Too much screen time is bad for kids. We've all heard it. We've all probably worried about it, maybe even tried to enforce strict limits in our own home. Here is the thing. What if I told you that a brand new study is shaking things up, suggesting that our focus might be a little off? So, grab your favorite beverage and settle in because we are about to unpack some fascinating findings. This research was published in the medical journal JAMA. It followed over 4,000 children across the country. And the conclusion was, well, brace yourselves. Longer screen time at age 10 was not associated with higher rate of suicidal behavior 4 years later. Mind blown, right? Because that's not what we've been hearing all this time. Instead, the real kicker is this. The children at high risk for suicidal behaviors were those who said their use of technology had become addictive. We are talking about kids who struggle to put their devices down or felt this growing need to use them more and more. And here is the wild part. Some kids show this addictive behavior even if the overall screen time was relatively low. So, it's not just about the clock anymore, people. It's about the compulsion. Furthermore, this addictive behavior is super common, especially with cell phone users. Nearly half of the kids in the study had high addictive use when it came to their phone. Let me say that again. Nearly half of the kids in the study had high addictive use when it came to their phones. Consequently, by age 14, kids with high or increasing addictive behavior were 2 to 3 times more likely to have thoughts of suicide or to harm themselves. Let that sink in for a moment. That is a huge jump, right? Dr. Yon Yuxiao, the lead author of this study, acknowledged this is the first study to identify that addictive use is important. Well, it's actually the root cause instead of time. She points out that it's harder for kids to control these impulses because their prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that acts like a brake on impulsivity, isn't fully developed yet. So it's not just a matter of willpower for them folks. And this is critical. Instead of just telling parents to limit screen time, which, let's be honest, can be incredibly tough, especially for single parents or lower income families who might rely on these devices to keep kids occupied for just a few minutes while they get things done. This study really changed the game, especially for folks making the rules. Instead of solely pointing fingers at parents, this study suggests that the tech companies need to step it up. We are talking about age-appropriate design that actually limit those super addictive features. Think of it like the United Kingdom, which has already started putting these kind of guidelines in place. It is less about telling parents no and more about designing technology that is healthy for young brains from the get-go. What's more, the study also found higher level of addictive use among Black and Hispanic adolescents and those from lower income family or with unmarried parents or parents without a college education. This really highlights the societal factors at play here. So what does this mean for us, the parents, the guardian, the concerned adult in a teen life? Dr. Christine Moutier, Chief Medical Officer of the American Foundation for Suicidal Prevention, offers some really practical tips. Look for changes in their behavior. Pay attention to shifts in sleeping, eating, school performances, angry outbursts, mood swing, or even loss of interest in things they used to love. And yes, keep an eye on their social media posts too. Keep the line of communication open. If you notice something, start a conversation. If they don't want to talk to you, offer to help them find someone else they trust. Seek professional support. If your child is expressing suicidal thought, a mental health evaluation and treatment can be incredibly helpful. Start with their pediatrician or mental health professional. This is crucial. If you have immediate concern for their safety, do not leave them alone. Call a suicide prevention lifeline like 988. Lock up any potential lethal objects. And if they are actively trying to harm themselves, get them to the closest emergency room. And remember these vital resources like the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, text or call 988, the Crisis Text Line, text for HOPE to 741-741. Dr. Xiao reminds us that if there are early warning signs of addiction, it is important to seek professional help. Simply taking the phone away might not solve the problem and could even create more family conflicts. So, the big takeaway here, my friend, is this. It's not just about the minutes or hours our kids spend looking at a screen. It's about how they are engaging with that technology. Is it becoming an addiction? Is it impacting their ability to function, to connect, to thrive? That's the real question we need to ask. Let's keep this civil convo going because understanding these nuances is how we truly, truly help our youth navigate this ever-evolving digital world. Thanks for watching Civil Convo with Rachel. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and let's keep those conversations flowing. Have an amazing, amazing day.